To put it simply, I am a terrible fan. I The last time I checked, which was when I was doing a reaction to one of the Book Thief trailers, I checked the Australian release date for the film and it said January 16. So on January 10, I saw on Twitter from a fellow Australian that they had seen the film already, and I'm just like, say what now? Say what? So I go to my local cinema's website and it's like, the release date is January 9th. I seem to have missed the memo where they brought it forward a week. I don't know what happened there. But when I did end up going to see it, when I was walking past the Book Thief, poster, there was a printed now showing sign stuck on top. And beneath, I could see that it still said January 16. So someone did something sneaky. It's not my fault. Let's talk about this film. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been waiting to hear my thoughts about this for a very long time, especially since it was released over in the US months ago. This is one of the downfalls of living on the other side of the earth. So last Tuesday I went and saw the Book Thief, and then the following day, that Wednesday night, and went and saw it again. So is that a hint at how I liked it? I think so. Overall, I was so happy with this film. I loved this film. It was amazing. Just overall as a movie on its own, it was beautiful. And then for a book to movie adaptation, it was perfection. I thought they did a fantastic job turning my favorite book ever into a glorious movie. So let's talk about some of the details. Now, first of all, if you don't know anything about this film or the movie at all, it is about a young girl called Liesel Memminger, and she is living in Nazi Germany. At the very beginning of the story, Liesel's younger brother dies while travelling to their new foster parents' home, and it is at the burial site of her brother that Liesel comes across a book lying in the snow called The Gravedigger's Handbook, and she picks it up and takes it with her. Her story then continues as she meets an array of beautiful people just trying to get by through some really difficult situations. With all of this war and hell going on, it just makes things even worse, but just this, I think that visually this film was just so beautiful. The setting in which it was filmed was absolutely gorgeous. I think it was perfect. It made it really authentic to the time period and the setting. There was just no doubt that this was set in Nazi Germany. And then the casting, I think, was perfectly done. Jeffrey Rush, I adore him. Emily Watson, Sophie Nélisse, and also Nico the actor who plays Rudy. I think that those two are incredibly talented. They're so young, but they did an amazing job. I loved seeing so much of Rudy in the movie. He was such a comic relief. He's just an adorable little boy, and I love him so much. He's such a good, loyal friend to Liesel, and his little crush on her is just the cutest thing ever. Hans Huberman, just as beautiful of a person in the film as he was in the book. I think Jeffrey Rush did a fantastic job portraying Hans Huberman. And I think that this film made me appreciate Rosa as a character a lot more. She's a very complex character. She has this really tough, rough, hard exterior, but beneath it all she has a huge heart, and I loved being able to see her kind of softening and opening up to Liesel and really showing how much she actually loves the girl. Of course, there is also Max, the Jew that the Hubermans are hiding in their basement. He's just such a beautiful person, and I loved the friendship that Liesel and him developed over time. It was just gorgeous. So just seeing it flourish. And another big, huge thing that I was really concerned about when I heard that this was going to be a film is Death, because in the book he's the narrator, and I was really anxious that he was just going to be kind of left out in the film, but Death was a part of this film. I'm happy. I'm really happy that Death was included in the film. However, I'm not too sure about the voice that they chose. At some points it seemed it just reminded me of a salesperson, and it didn't feel quite right at times. But overall, I was just really happy that Death was a part of the film. That just made it for me. Overall, I thought this movie was fantastic and so emotional. It made me so emotional. There were definitely the really depressing moments, and my friend actually said after watching the film, she's like, this this film makes sad look happy. It is so depressing, and it is kind of true. Like, it really does tear your heart out, but at the same time there are also those beautifully joyous moments. And I'm going to continue on with this little rant, but moving on to this spoiler section. So I think that the scene that I loved the most, because it was just so full of joy and it made me giggle, it's when Liesel takes Snow down to the basement for Max because he can't see the outside world, and Hans discovers what she's doing. He walks down and sees this little pile of snow on the ground, and then it cuts away to Liesel and Hans sneaking buckets full of snow past Rosa, and next thing we see, they've got like buckets and pans and things like that as armor, and they're having a snowball fight, and then Rosa comes in and she joins in on all the fun. In the next scene, we see this glorious snowman sitting amongst the family in the basement, and Rosa says, "This is the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life," but Hans is like, "And look how happy you are." And you can just see in Rosa's face that she really is happy in that moment, and that's one of the first scenes where you really get to see the real side of Rosa, what's really inside. It's just, I thought that little segment was beautiful. Oh, it makes me so happy. I thought it was so good. I just loved how funny Hans and Rosa were, and also Rudy as well, when he's running away and he has this bag, and the only thing in his bag is his soccer ball. That's all he's gonna need to survive, pretty much. But it's just, Rudy is a beautiful character. And one thing that I do also want to point out is just after Rudy paints himself black and pretends that he's Jesse Owens, this African-American male that Rudy constantly says is the fastest man on earth. The scene after this where his father is washing off all the mud and everything, his father asks why he would do that. And Rudy says, because he's the fastest man on earth. I want to be just like him, kind of thing. And his father says, but you shouldn't want to be a black man. And when Rudy asks why, he just said, because I said so. He doesn't really have very good reasoning. And I think this is a really good kind of portrayal of the kind of corrupt mindset that was being instilled, the mindset of the Nazis penetrating everyone and everything. That scene just really stood out to me. And I felt like I had to mention it. Now, moving on to one thing I did want to kind of criticize was at the very end, after Heaven Street has been blown up by the bombs. When Liesel emerges amongst all this rubble, just houses have been destroyed, and she sees the corpses laid out on the rubble. I was expecting to see at least a little more charred flesh, considering so many explosions happened. I wasn't really expecting to see so many whole bodies just still intact. I mean, I guess they could have died from inhalation of like the smoke and everything, but I was expecting at least a few detached limbs and missing eyeballs and whole body parts never to be seen again. I mean, I guess I understand that they wouldn't want to have that so that they keep the rating at PG, but that's just one thing that I noticed, and my friend noticed, she pointed it out as well. And we also have Rudy at the very end. I was not expecting him to still at least have a little bit of life in him, and just this whole part was so emotional. But I mean, I understand. I think that the actor was too young to be able to really act out a death scene really realistically. It was kind of like, Liesel, I have to tell you, I love... The actor is incredibly talented, but that part I was just like, But then after that, Liesel's just like, no, Rudy, kiss me, and then she kissed, it was so sad. I cried so much. I'm pretty sure there was like snot running down my face too. It was a whole lot of mess. But apart from those things, this film, I am so happy with this film. I loved it so much. Seeing my favorite book come to life is an amazing feeling, and I'm really glad that it was done effectively. It still made me feel all of the feels. It was one heck of a roller coaster ride for my emotions, that's for sure. I just loved seeing my characters in the flesh and interacting with each other. I'm done. I have no more words to say. My cheeks actually kind of hurt from smiling so much. But what about you guys? For those of you that have seen the movie, did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on the movie? What was your favorite scene? And if you didn't like the movie, let me know why. I'm curious to know. So I'm going to leave you with that. I will talk to you guys down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!